thought he was going to say I'm immersed in shit. Because this session I am, all right? I am. And I do want to thank, by the way, all of the delegates and senators who've come, because we do have a heavy lift this session that I think at the end of the session is going to make a tremendous difference in water quality in Maryland. I would like to take a special little privilege to have stand up, really the person, I hope he's still here, I swear. No, yes he is, who's my right and left hand many times, and that's my Vice Chair, Jim Malone. You mentioned the task force. The task force actually generated somewhere around 30 recommendations that not only have to do with, they all have to do with water quality. Some of them have to do with growth and septic. Some of them have to do with incentivizing redevelopment in our older communities. And some of them have to do with preserving agriculture in Maryland as one of our economic engines. And so I'm proud to say that this year the governor is sponsoring a bill that will in fact outline the recommendations that the task force developed for growth in Maryland. And you will begin to hear, if you haven't already, about the four tiers in Maryland. Tier one being our existing communities, priority funding areas, tier two being growth areas, tier three being rural villages, and tier four being our preserved and very precious agricultural land. I'm pleased to say that this bill turns out to be not a war on rural Maryland, but I think actually the savior of rural Maryland. And I think you will find that it has a very balanced approach to growth that makes sense, and that where we will see growth hopefully stimulated in older communities and be designed to work out from those communities in a planned and sustainable way. The flush fee, or the Chesapeake Bay Restoration Fund, as it is properly known, and by the way, let's just get it out of the way right now. Is it a fee or is it a tax? If it comes out of my purse, it's a tax, right? So let's just all say it's a fee, okay? I'm also pleased that the governor has taken a portion of our recommendation to double that fee. It will complete the job of retrofitting our wastewater treatment plants, our major wastewater treatment plants. And the good news is that we will have a few, but fewer than we thought, I believe, what we call major minor plants, mainly on the eastern shore or in some of the suburban parts of the state that will also be able to avail themselves of these funds. Very important to get that job done for nitrogen reduction in Maryland. But a part of the plan that I think, or the task force recommendations that isn't so much talked about, I saw a little blurb in the paper today about it, but one part of the plan that has not been highlighted so much is that we also came up with many recommendations to preserve farming in Maryland, making it profitable. That's very important. And I'm also pleased to announce that the governor will be introducing a bill that will end the inheritance tax on farms that pass down to family members who want to retain that agricultural land and farming. And that's a very important thing. The task force, if you haven't seen all the recommendations, I think is a great blueprint, if you will, for my committee and the companion committee in the Senate. I think it's a great blueprint for us to follow over the next 2 or 3 years. I have to mention 3 other things just very quickly so that they don't get lost. I do want to also call out Delegate Heather Mazier, who has led us in the oversight of potential drilling in Marcellus Shale in Maryland. Delegate Holmes from the Environmental Matters Committee have done a lot of work and research in this area. There's a commission set up that will guide our decisions. There's Delegate Holmes walking in right now. And I appreciate Delegate Hucker just walked in. Please come in. I'm going to co-sponsor the arsenic bill this year. We had a study that was done by the University of Maryland that led us to the conclusion that even though the federal government has at this point banned arsenic from chicken feed, we should move ahead in Maryland and make sure that it never returns on the market. And then finally, we're going to have to do some work in the area of lead paint. The Court of Appeals tinkered with our state program and has taken away, I think, one of the biggest incentives for property owners, landlords, to in fact comply to Maryland law. So we're going to try to do something to help folks self-insure and make sure that they only get the benefit of this insurance program for lead paint if they are in compliance with our Maryland laws. That's about it for my committee. There's probably another 250 bills that'll come in. But I do want to end by thanking, again, the governor for his leadership. It has been tremendous in this area. And I also do want to say something about the two Mikes, as we call them, Mike Bush, the Speaker, and Mike Miller, the President and Senate. Really, my experience in the last 2 terms working as chair of the Environmental Matters Committee, it's been a great partnership between the Senate and the House. We've accomplished so much, and I do appreciate their leadership as well. So thank you.